Hi, I'm going to show you how to make this Jasmine Star Stitch. The yarn that I used for that was the Unforgettable Boutique Candied yarn from Red Heart. I'm going to show you how to do this pattern with, this is baby green yarn. It's easier to use than that Unforgettable Boutique to show you. The other yarn is very fine yarn and it's fragile to work with, so I'm going to show you on this baby yarn. I'm using an H hook. To get started, we're going to slip knot onto the hook. And you're going to start with a chain 1. Okay, so we're going to start with the chain 1. This chain 1 is your foundation beginning stitch. You're going to pull up about an inch. You're going to yarn over to create your first puff stitch. Yarn over, insert into that chain 1. Grab that yarn, pull up, yarn over, and you're going to place your hook into that first chain again, and this is 3 times, so we did that 3 times. Pull up, and then you have these loops on your hook about the same distance and length. Then you're going to yarn over, grab a hold of this yarn right here, and you're going to hold that because you're going to use that when you pull through. So you're going to yarn over, pull through all your loops, hold that loop right here, and then you're still holding that loop, and you're going to place your hook into that loop. And you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and you're going to chain 1. That's your first puff stitch, and when you do this, I'm going to show you 6 puff stitch across for an example of how to do this project pattern to do the Jasmine stitch. But you can create as many puffs as you would like for the width of your pattern. So if you want it, you can create a scarf with this pattern, you can create a cowl neck scarf with this pattern, or a baby blanket. And so you may want to do more than just 6 puff stitches. So now you're going to pull up about an inch with your yarn. You're going to yarn over. This is considered 1. We're going to do 2. Place your hook in that chain 1. Grab that yarn. Pull up about the same distance. Do it one more time, which is 3. Place it in that chain 1. Pull up. You're creating your second puff stitch. Yarn over, grab a hold of that yarn right here, pull through all your loops, and then you have that loop here that you held on to. Place your hook through that. You have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1. You just created your second puff stitch. We're going to do this 4 more times to give you the idea of how to do this. Then you're going to yarn up, pull up your yarn again about an inch, yarn over, place through that chain 1. So this is going to be considered your second. Pull up, yarn over, and do it 3 times in that chain 1. So now you have all those loops on your hook 3 times. You're going to yarn over, grab a hold of this yarn, pull through all your loops, place your hook in that loop that you held on to. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1. We're going to create your 4th one, pull up, yarn over, place through that chain 1, yarn, pull your loop up, yarn over, do it your 3rd time, pull your loops up, yarn over, hold on to that loop right here, pull through, take this yarn over loop and pull through all your loops, place your hook through this loop you held on to. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1. Okay, 2 more times, pull your yarn up, yarn over, pull through the chain 1, 2, now we'll do it 3 times, you have all those loops on your hook, yarn over, hold on to that loop, pull through your loops, place your hook through that loop you held on to. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, chain 1. We're going to do it one more time. Place through your chain 1, pull up your loop. This is your 3rd one, place through that chain 1, pull up your loop. Yarn over, grab a hold of that loop, pull through that loop you held on to, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1. So now you have 6, but you can continue on for your desired width of your pattern. If you made a scarf, this would be the width of your scarf, and you can just continue on for the desired length. If you did a baby blanket, you'd want to do this many more times. It just depends on how wide you wanted your blanket. Now this one is going to be considered an open puff stitch. So you're going to do the same thing, pull up, yarn over, place through the chain 1, pull up, place through that chain 1, that's your 3rd one, and then stop. Instead of closing it, you're going to work 3 sets of these to create part of your star stitch. Okay, so you have it here, you're going to go to here in this chain 1, and you're going to do the same thing. Place your hook through there. So you placed your hook through that center here. So I'll show you again. We have here, and then your chain 1. You're going to place your hook in there. Yarn over and grab that loop, pull it up. Do that again. And do it a 3rd time here. So now you have these loops on your hook here. Okay? Then you're going to yarn over, and your next chain 1 here after this puff stitch in the center here, you're going to do the same thing. Place your hook in that center chain 1. Yarn over, pull through, bring it up to the level of these stitches, yarn over, do it again, 2, yarn over, a 3rd time. Okay, so now you have all these stitches, these loops on your hook. It's a set of 3, and you're going to yarn over and you're going to hold this loop again. You can place your finger in it if you can place your finger in there, or you can even use a hook to place in here to hold it. Then you're going to take this loop and you're going to pull it through all the loops. So now you have all those loops. You just pulled through all 3 sets and you held on to this loop. You're going to place your hook in that loop that you held on to. If you've never done that before, it is a little bit tricky and it does take practice. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to pull up. And you're going to, we have one on your one loop here, you're going to do it twice. So that was 1, this is 2, pull up. And then 3. Okay, right before this puff stitch here, you're going to work another set of an open puff stitch right here. So you're going to yarn over, grab that yarn, pull it up with these puff stitches, this open puff stitch here, yarn over, pull it up again, that's twice, yarn over, 3 times. So now you have it 3 times. Then you need to do another set right here, and this is the puff stitch. You're going to work it in between these 2 puff stitches. So 1, pull up, 2, pull up, 3. So now you have a set of 3 open puff stitches. 1, 2, 3 again. You're going to do the same thing, yarn over, grab that loop with your finger if you can put your finger all the way through, and then pull through these loops. So you pull through all these loops, grab that loop you held on to, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops, chain 1. Okay, you're going to do this again, pull up, that's 1, and that chain 1, you're going to do 2, pull up, 3, pull up, then right here in between this puff stitch here, you're going to do the same thing, place your hook in there, and that chain 1, grab your yarn, pull up, that's 1, 2, 3, pull up, and you have to do one more set here in this puff stitch in between the chain 1 here. You're going to pull up, 1, 2, 3. So now you have all 3 sets here. You're going to do the same thing, pull over, yarn over, place your finger in that loop, pull through all the loops. Place your hook in that loop here that you held on to, yarn over, place your hook and your yarn over in between the 2 loops, chain 1, draw up your loop, That's 1, and that chain 1, you're going to pull up 2 now, and then 3, and then right here you're going to do the same thing, yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull up 3, and then the next one, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, 2, and then 3. You have 3 sets of stitches here, of puff stitches, and you're going to yarn over, hold that loop here with your finger, pull through all loops, place your hook through that loop you held on to, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1, pull up your yarn, 1, and then this is 2, and then 3, and then in between here you're going to do the same thing, 1, 2, 3, and then at the last one, at the very end, in that chain 1, you're going to do the same thing. Pull up 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, hold on to that loop, pull through all your loops. Place your hook in that loop you held on to, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1, turn your work. This one is going to, your first one to start every row is going to have a closed puff stitch, but this puff stitch is only going to have, instead of 3 on the hook, you're just going to do 2. So 1, and then this is 2 in that chain 1. So you just have the 1 and then 2 instead of 3 to start each row. You're going to yarn over, grab a hold of that yarn, place your hook through that open yarn you held on to, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, chain 1. So each row will have a puff stitch that just has 2 loops instead of 3. Then we're going to start the 3 sets again. So yarn up, we have 1, 2, pull up, 3 in that chain 1, then you're going to come down here in this open space that looks like a little circle here. You're going to place your hook in there, yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull up 3, and then in this next open space, which is like it is your chain 1 here, but it looks like a little circle, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to work your 3rd set of puffs. 1, 2, 3. So you have all 3 puffs on your hook. Yarn over, grab a hold of that loop, pull through all your loops, place your hook through that stitch that loop you held on to, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, chain 1, yarn up, you're going to work 1, and then this is 2 in your chain 1, 3, yarn over, and your chain 1. Then in this open space here, you're going to work another puff stitch set, 1, 2, yarn over, 3, and then in this next circle puff stitch space here, it is your chain 1. You're going to work another set, 1, 2, yarn over, 3, because you always are going to have 3. So you have 1, 2, 3 sets, yarn over, grab a hold of that yarn, pull through, place your hook through that held yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, chain 1. Okay, if you can see it, here's your little Jasmine Star Stitch. There's 5 petals, and you're getting your next 5 petals coming up. This end does have a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but because it's the end, it stops. So you're going to pull up, 1 in that chain 1, 2, 3, and then in this circle here you're going to do another set, 1, 2, 3, and then in this next set you're going to do 1 in this space here, 1, which is your chain 1, 2, 3, you have 3 sets on your hook, yarn over, grab a hold, pull through all your loops, place your hook through that loop you held on to, chain 1, or sorry, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then chain 1. Here's your next star stitch right here, and then right here, and right here. Yarn up, 1, 2, and then 3. In this space here, your next set, 1, 2, 3. And then in your next set, yarn over in this space here, which is your chain 1, 1, 2, 3. 3 sets here, yarn over, grab a hold of that yarn, pull through all your loops, place your hook through that loop you held on to,